It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream, part of the Nielsen Media Cool Bad Network, brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. And no better way to celebrate a huge win over the Kings. I hope Stuart Skinner's having like 9 Popeye's chicken sandwiches today, because he deserves it after last night. Tommy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I hope he's having a side of mac and cheese as well. I think he is.
So good, so good. We've got some news actually on Popeye's. I got a Car Flags sitting right next to me here. But Tommy, what do you think of the last day of church? What do you think of my chin strap today, man?
You did a lovely job with church. You and Eric bringing awareness to chin straps.
And the stigma. And the stigma.
Very
right,
well done.
The you here sees you can do it too, right? You can do it too.
You
so
guys
it's
are
always there
noble
for
warriors for church. Yes, well done.
Yeah,
bravo.
Exactly. As always, the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. And look at these, buddy.
That is nice.
This is a good quality. Like, listen to this. Listen to this snap. Listen.
That's like
That's
Alberta
a good
wind.
quality car flag.
Yeah, that sounds like mid-April, early May Alberta wind, and it can obviously handle it.
Look, you can rub it on your chin strap and everything, buddy.
Oh.
It's amazing. So
whoa, settle down over there.
I know. I've got a few of these that we're gonna give away. You can pick these up at Popeye's. It's $5 for the car flag, and like I said, it's high quality stuff. It's actually, I'm surprised by how quality it is, to be honest with you. You got the 2 Oilers logos and then just a small little Popeye's mentioned in the bottom. $5 a flag, or if you go in, you take your family out for dinner and it's 50. If you just spend $50, you get a car flag for free at all your Popeye's locations. So
Furby doesn't mess around. He likes quality stuff. So that's
the best thing about Furby is that he's a huge, diehard Oilers fan.
Yeah.
Right? So Popeye's does it right. So, yes, you can pick those up. It's going to be good. And they've got a new sandwich actually launching on Monday. And I don't know. I'm going to try this. I told them I'd try this, but I'm not a big spicy guy, hey, Tommy? So it's the new Ghost Pepper Sandwich.
Okay, good luck.
Monday, I think it goes on sale, $8.99. $8.99 for the new Ghost Pepper. And I'll try that next week on the Oil Stream. And we'll see how it goes. Yeah. If you do want to win, this, just stick around a little bit later on. We're going to give away car flag with some Oilers playoff trivia coming up a little bit later on here in the Oil Stream. But Tommy, what a night. Like the Oilers don't play in 2-0 games. Like that's just not what they do. They don't win 2-0. They don't lose 2-0. So it's very rare to see. I don't know. You've done every post game all year. When I was doing our morning after show today at 6:30, I'm not too sure how many times after a game I've looked at the 3 stars and both goalies were in there. Like that usually doesn't happen in this game, but we got a good battle between the pipes last night, didn't we?
Lots of shots last night, lots of high danger opportunities. I think the Oilers gave up a few, obviously, and Skinner made some great saves. The first save I think of is the Kempe one in the second period.
For sure.
Yeah, the mini breakaway, forehand, backhand, boom, glove. That was rock solid. Like he was dialed in, and Korpisalo had to be really sharp for LA. So that was a fun game. The vibe was good. The buildup was good. And I think it lived up to the expectation. And yeah, you had both teams like engaged and kind of sizing each other up. Both goalies literally standing tall because they're big dudes. There was a lot to like about last night. And you know what? It tees up a really good game in LA next week.
That's going to be great. That's going to be a huge game. I'm sure both teams will still be within striking distance of each other, maybe right at the top of the standings as well in the Pacific. We'll get to that in a second. What do you think last night's game does for Skinner moving forward, Tommy? Because biggest game of the season, best game of his career, all combined into one.
Yeah, and maybe it gives him or reassures him that he is capable. He is developing into the money goalie, and money goalie being, the high pressure games, he rises to the occasion. So I think that kind of solidifies or helps build that rapport within himself, confidence, all that good stuff. I would not be surprised if it just, reassured him too, Dusty, that like the goals that he'd been allowing over the last month, like he was able to cut a lot of those out. I know much of it has to do with the play in front of him from spotty defensive zone coverage, but he got pretty good defensive zone coverage for the most part. The Kings did get their good chances. Obviously, there were some mistakes from the Oilers in front of Skinner, but to just not allow that late goal, to not have that letdown. Like I think back a couple weekends ago to Seattle when the Oilers were in command of that game, and there was that late goal. There was a scramble in front, and you could see Skinner after it went in. The game was out of hand, or the Oilers had it wrapped up, and he let in that fourth goal, and you could just see him like swearing through his mask. And then he did that the other night as well. I believe when the Oilers let in another late one, but to not have that is probably just a relief for him. And then just big confidence boost. And then the fact that the team played good and didn't allow a goal for the first time all season. Bravo. Like, good job. They did it.
Yeah, it was a really nice hockey game last night. It was a fun game to watch, even though there's just a couple of goals, lots of chances both ways, and both goaltenders absolutely outstanding. That brings us to our Boston Pizza Appetizer. If you're looking for happy hour 2 to 5, again, from 9 till close. Tommy, I need a haircut, don't I? Look at this. Look at this. I am not going bald anytime soon.
Good.
Oh, buddy, we're like salt and pepper right now, right? Man, it is way brighter today than it was when I saw you in person the other day.
I told you, like,
you're straight up 90s boy band, eh? Like, that's what this is.
It's got a baby.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Thank
Totally distracted after that. With what we saw last night, I guess we'll get another taste of it coming up here. And the Kings have been very good at limiting goals lately. They just didn't score any last night because Skinner was terrific. Is last night's game what that series would be, Tommy? Or do you think it opens up? Like, because there's chances. Like, there was tons of shots last night. The Kings had over 40 shots. Like, there wasn't massive, significant breakdowns, but both teams had a lot of grade A scoring opportunities. So I feel like this series could sort of settle into like a 3-2-ish type of series, right? I don't think you're going to see Skinner toss 3 shutouts if they actually end up playing each other, but it feels like it could be that type of series.
I think it would be that type of series because it looked like two teams that were, again, sizing each other up, but like the strategy and Sean Bell filled in yesterday again for Cass on the post game, and he was watching the game last night up at the press box with us, and he goes, "Hey, look at how the Oilers are defending now. They're defending in layers. Everybody's paying attention to their details. No missed assignments really." And then he's like, "Look at the adjustment that they've made going into the offensive zone." He's like, "They're trying to spread out. The Kings try to bust through that 1-3-1 or whatever. Some people were calling it a 1-4, and they were trying to attack with speed through the neutral zone." And so there was all this strategy going into it, and they stuck to the system, and they stayed true to the game plan. And they got the breaks ultimately, and they took advantage of their opportunities. And McDavid's goal was just brilliance. So I do think it will be more of a tight checking affair. Nobody wants to flinch. First one to flinch, like, that's trouble. And so I think that is a sign
if the Kings score first in a game, it's a little bit of a different game, right? Because then they're not forced to open it up. It's that type of series. That's what it feels like if it actually happens. So
yeah, exactly. I feel like that too. So it's just two good teams that know each other very well. Both coaches scheming against one another, and you know what? That was very similar to the last game of that playoff series where it was tight and the Oilers got the one bounce and they won 1-0. And we saw 2 games in LA this season, but the first one back, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like Game 7 from last year's first round.
Do the Oilers hold a physical advantage over the Kings? Last night it looked like they did. I just don't know if that's a thing moving forward.
Oh, the Kings were feisty too, though. There was a lot of those extracurricular skirmishes that I quite enjoyed. Maybe just you look at the Oilers now, and you got Evander Kane playing better, trying to find himself. You have a couple of giants on the Oilers now, so they can't get pushed around as much, which is good. So maybe slightly, Dusty, just because they're the sheer size that the Oilers have in terms of how big these dudes are. But no, I think they match up well physically.
Nielsen and Gazzola with you here on the Oil Stream, brought to you by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. We're going to give away another new car flags in just a moment. The race to the Pacific now. That win for the Oilers was a big one. The Golden Knights got 1 point last night, still in the driver's seat a bit. They've got that game in hand here as well, Tommy. let's just start with the overall importance of finishing first in the Pacific. Like you get to avoid the Kings, you get to avoid the Golden Knights, you likely play Seattle or Winnipeg or Calgary or Nashville, which I think is a significant step down, in my opinion, from those other two teams. Yeah. I would rank it Kings, Golden Knights, all the wildcard teams quite a ways down. So how important is it, Tommy, do you think, for this group to finish first in the Pacific?
I think that would be a luxury. And I think, a well-earned one if they're able to accomplish it. Good on them for putting themselves into this position. I bet there's people out there that if they miss by a point or two, be like, why didn't they beat Anaheim that one game where Lucas Dostal?
There'll always be that, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, like, why didn't they beat Columbus this year and piss away points to Philadelphia? They could have had first. I do think it is a significant difference between, facing the Golden Knights and the Kings in the first round compared to those other teams. Like, when Rick Bowness is calling out his leaders with like 2 weeks to go in the regular season, hello, Winnipeg, like, wake up. And then Nashville, which sold off, were sellers into the deadline, are all of a sudden right there with games in hand. That's unbelievable and tells you what Winnipeg is not doing. And then the Flames all of a sudden are still hanging around and they're playing better. Markstrom looks good, but that's a team that seems to be in disarray at times too. So yes, and Seattle, they don't have the goaltending, and they've had a nice season and they're kind of fading away, but good on them for having a good season. So yes, you want to get it to first. How important is it, Dusty? I really think that the Oilers, regardless of if they face, a Seattle, a Calgary, a Nashville, or Winnipeg, compared to a Vegas or LA, I think they have a good chance in any one of those series. The two teams that I worry about is, and if it happens, Minnesota, Colorado.
Yeah, and they're on the other side of this thing, and you won't have to face them to a conference final anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think I might be glossing over the Golden Knights a little bit just because of how that last game went. But if any possible first round opponent right now for the Oilers, the only one I think that could end up beating them, I'm not saying they will. We'll get to this if it happens. The Kings would be a stiff test. I think the Oilers advance out of the first round. I don't even think it's close with any of these other teams. So I think the Kings-Oilers would be a great series, and that's why you probably want to see it in the second round, which would be even better. Now, Tommy, they've got 6 games left, right? They've got Anaheim, and then on the road for 4, Kings, Ducks, Sharks, Colorado. Big game to wrap up a 4-game trip there. And San Jose at home to wrap things up. Of those 6 games, Tommy, there's 12 points up for grabs. I mean, if you're going to finish first in the division, you probably need to get 9 or 10 of them, which is certainly possible. But what do you think they do in the final 6 games? What do you think they're able to come away with?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wins, obviously. And then the LA-Colorado games are toss-ups. I'd like to see them beat Colorado. Probably just like to get over that mental hurdle of getting by the Avs, who swept them last year and seemed to always give them fits. 4 wins, Dusty, in the last 6. And then that LA game, who knows? I feel like the Kings will want retribution and to prove it to themselves that they have the ability to beat the Oilers. I think that's important to them as well. Very much the same mindset that Edmonton has looking at the Kings. I think the Kings look at the Oilers and say, all right, well, this is the team that beat us. We want to size up well. So that game could go either way. And then the Avs game, so 4 wins in these last 6. Maybe they lose in OT or something like that. They'll probably lose one of them in regulation as well. So I would say,
I think they win. I think they win 4 of them. 4 of them outright. I would think they probably win 4 of them outright. And it won't be the 4 easy ones. They're going to lose one of those games. I feel like they're going to drop one, and everybody's going to. I can see it now. Your post-game show after a loss in San Jose, it's like, how can you have this loss prior to the playoffs? Oh my God, they're on the wrong foot. So I could see them maybe dropping one of those, but still coming away with a minimum of 4 wins. I'd be shocked if they don't win 4 of their final 6.
Yeah,
could run the table. Still very likely they get 5 of them, but I'd be pretty surprised if they don't get 4.
Yeah. If they maintain this level of sharpness and focus on the strategy and the system, then, that they really could win all of them, but they don't always do that. They don't always do that.
Jack Campbell plays 1 game? Is that what we're thinking? The back-to-backs?
Yeah.
Got to get the back-to-back. Like, you got to give them the back-to-back with the Ducks, right? Like, yeah.
And then I think in that last week, depending on what's going on, like where they are in the standings, or if we have a clearer picture of where they're going to finish and there's less relevance, I think he gets one of those last games, either Avs or Sharks. But I think they'll toss him one to give Skinner a little bit of a breather. But it's all dependent on where the Oilers are at. If they're fighting in neck and neck and they want top spot, they're not playing Jack Campbell.
Rashog tweeting a little bit ago here. Ryan Murray. Totally forgot he was even on the roster. Oh, yeah. Ryan Murray hitting the ice this morning. Shoggy says, interesting. Oilers could use some depth on the blue line, but long road back there. This guy's not playing another game for the Edmonton Oilers, is he? There's no chance he could play in the playoffs. None.
He hasn't played since like November.
Yeah. There's that's not. Yeah, they are so screwed if you have to go to Ryan Murray in the place. He's kind of been dabbling around, hasn't he? Like, he's been around, but yeah.
Okay, couple things. I've seen Ryan Murray. He's the one, as everyone's like still on the ice and coming off the ice and finishing up a practice, he's already like in street clothes going home. Like, I've seen him do that. And then I think somebody asked Ken Holland, I don't know if it was Matheson, but they told me, they're like, yeah, I asked about Ryan Murray and what the heck's going on. And Ken just kind of rolled his eyes and just like shook his head and was like, So there you go. I don't think he's factoring in.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be. If you're like setting up Game 6 round, were you from that game last night? McDavid hit, setting the tone physically.
Yeah, he could have gotten thrown out. I think that was borderline. When I saw the refs meet, I was like, oh, that might be it. And what a difference that game would have gone through. Like, it would have been completely different. So, I mean,
I do think they got it right. With that being said, the injury thing, that's tough. That is tough. And if you're on the other side of it, I know Kings fans somebody said Kings Reddit today is just losing their shit right now. Like, they're not happy.
Well, it was Mikey Anderson, and the Oilers didn't do anything in the 2 games earlier this season. And then sure enough, McDavid goes to be physical and happens to catch Anderson. I didn't think it was clean. Obviously, he got a penalty. I thought he was getting kicked out. I was like, uh-oh. And they decided otherwise.
It certainly wasn't clean. That's for sure.
No.
I think the 2 minutes is probably about right. But outside of that, I mean, anything. And, okay, let me ask you this. What was more impressive, McDavid's goal or Draisaitl's pass on Kane's goal? Because they both do those things all the time.
All the time, yeah. I'll go with McDavid's goal. Like, that's a great way to get 300. Yeah, just by slightly. Like, we're talking about works of art here.
I think the fact that it was the 300th for McDavid might lean me a little bit towards that. I think Draisaitl's might have been more impressive to me, though. Like, McDavid had to make a move at the blue line, and then he's gone. Right?
He made 2 moves at the blue line. He's like, bam, 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 like in tight, hops through.
I guess the second one to me was the better move because that was the one that set him free. But
he was so quick out of the zone that he had time to look back, slow down, pop, and then just snipe. I think
nobody should move that fast with the puck.
Yeah,
you just shouldn't.
Oh, it was incredible. I thought that was brilliant. That pass too by Draisaitl was fantastic. I mean, we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah, they're both phenomenal. But in a big game like that, your goaltender pitches a shutout, and you're going to need key moments from your difference makers, and they both did it the one time, and it ended up in the back of the net. So that was big. Stay cool, bet responsibly with Coolbet. If you're looking to get in on the Oilers down the stretch here, you can do it over at Coolbet. And we're the trivia today to give away this flag here for Popeyes is numbers related. So I decided we'd tie that into inside the numbers here.
Nice.
If you want to get your hands on this, and we'll have a few of them that we'll give away here over the next week or so. Look, it's bigger than my head. Like, this is a massive car flag. Hey, let me ask you this, Tommy. Before I give the question, it's an easy question. Everybody's going to get it. Where do you come out on multiple flags on a car?
It's a bit much. I mean, I'm not a flag person, but
yeah.
I think if you have one on each side is fine, especially if it's the playoffs. Why not? Why not?
My kids love them. They counted They count every time so we had a running count going last year in the playoffs, and Tammy's car and my car, I think we counted I think it ended up being over 300 car flags over the stretch of the playoffs that we passed.
Yeah.
But we have to go 2 on my wife's car. That's because the kids are in my wife's car most of the time, so they're going to throw 2 on. And they both have to have one on their door, right? So we have to go 2. Marshall said, what about all 4 doors? And I looked at Tammy, and Tammy's like, "No, there's no way you're putting up 4." So yeah, I think 2's the max. Sure. 2 is likely the max for the car flags.
If you've got 2 kids in there, like 1 each, I get it. But if you're like,
what do you have a minivan and you've got 5 kids?
No, it's still 2. Like, represent both sides of the vehicle. But if you're like a 46-year-old and you have like 9 flags plus a oil derrick that you've made in your garage. Well,
those are just hardcore fans, man. Like that's, I know. I remember seeing that truck in the parking lot a lot last year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Did you see the one guy that had like the sombrero that lit up and his face was painted, and it's like he's dressed like a Viking? They had him on the big screen. I think they put him on TV a couple times yesterday. He came into Ice House. Yesterday, and I think he just wanted to be seen, so he was just doing laps. He wasn't having anything to drink or eat. and I believe earlier in the year, he came up to me at the booth, and he gave me a sticker with his like social media handle, and I was like, "Thank you."
Good promotion, though. Good self promotion. Yeah. I mean, that's not bad. Actually, I went for dinner a few weeks ago, a charity dinner Rashog and I went to. The guys have season tickets right behind that guy. Oh, and Sombrero guy does not go over well.
He's annoying. No. Well, like I said, he was just doing laps. Just walk. I think he just wanted to be seen. He doesn't even talk. He doesn't talk. He just walks around and he's like.
Well, you got to strut your stuff. Send a message that you're there for business, Tommy. That's what you're doing. All right. So here's how you win the car flag. Slide into my DMs with the answer at NielsenTSN1260. On Twitter, just slide into my DMs, and one of you will win this. Actually, I'll give away 2. So 2 of you will win this. It's very easy. Evander Kane led the Oilers in goals last playoffs. Who was second? Tommy, don't give away the answer. Don't give away the answer. It's an easy one. Right. But it might not be necessarily who you think it is. That would be my bonus clue. But, all right, so Evander Kane led the Oilers in playoff goals in 2022. Who was second? Hop in my DMs with the correct answer, and we'll get you one of these Oilers car flags available at Popeyes. $5 for the flag, pretty good quality. Or if you go in and you spend $50 on dinner, maybe for those new ghost pepper sandwiches next week, you'll get a car flag for free. So,
and don't send Dusty any nudes in the DMs. He doesn't play that game.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, yeah, no.
You'll look.
Part of me was like, no, I mean, I do have a lot of these things. No dick pics in my DMs, please. Let's just leave it at that for now. All right, one more game tomorrow for the Oilers, and then they get on the road trip. Tommy, what time do you get going on 1260 tomorrow?
8 o'clock start, right? Yeah, we go at 6:30, and we're gonna have this hybrid of Cass and Belzy. Like Cass came on pregame, but we had so many people that were hopping on the show yesterday. Dennis Bernstein, Dave Pagnotta. Then we had Belzy and Cass. It went really well. It was a busy show, both of them actually. So 6:30, and we'll tee up. It's not a huge game, but it's an important one. So looking forward to that. I'll be at Ice House. Come by, say hi. Maybe I'll buy you a drink. Don't just leave me a sticker and not say anything with your social media handles.
I'm going to get my own social media sticker and bring one down and give it to you.
Well, you're different.
Tommy, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter.
I already do. Happily.
Lots of people slide into my DMs, so that's good to see. We'll let the contest go for about 24 hours, so people who listen to the podcast can get in as well. One more time, Evander Kane led the Oilers in playoff goals last year. Who scored the second most goals? Slide in my DMs at NielsenTSN1260 on Twitter, and you can get the mix for that car flag. We're going to give away 2 of them today, and we'll give away more next week. Tommy, get us out of here, buddy. Enjoy your weekend, man.
Hey. All right, you too, Dusty. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for texting DMs to Dusty. No dick pics, please.
But no dicks. No schlongs.
Nothing. Have a great weekend. Like, share, subscribe, smash the thumbs up. No dick pics for Dusty.
See you, buddy.
Have a great weekend.